Hey guys, how's it going? Okay, so hopefully this works, but today I'm going to be teaching you the basics of how to create a pony in Anime Studio, so that by the time that you're done, you'll wind up with something like this, with completely movable bones and head banging action and yeah. So you'll have the head banging Fluttershy, you'll have things that move, and then we'll learn how to make smart dials so that the eyes can do this. She can look adorable, she can be extremely happy. We'll learn about switch layers, and then we will make an extremely adorable pony. Isn't that adorable? Isn't she just looks so happy? Just like she's going to stare into your soul. And enough about that. Okay. So today we're gonna go over Pinkie because I have tried to make a tutorial over Twilight for a billion times. Okay, so what you're going to want to do first is just go to Google and search up a Pinkie Pie Vector. Now I found that Pinkie Pie is probably the hardest to find a good vector for because she is always in really strange positions. Like she's always bouncing around or in 69, you know, bad positions. And the closest one I found for the side view that we're going to need actually was actually a fan-made vector. So, you know, just find one that works for you. I found two of them. There's this one, and then there's also potentially this one, which looks like it could work. So, other than that whole thing, you know, that annoying. So we'll just go ahead and try this. I'll try and include a link to the vector, but I'm probably going to forget it. Ignore the background ambient noise. My Turtle Beach is broke and I'm using my default microphone. So the first thing we're going to want to do is press this button, new layer, and then you'll create a bone layer. And this will pop up. Just name it Pinkie, and we'll make the bones in a different guide. And then you are going to want to create a new vector layer. Make sure to drag it down here with Pinkie and rename it front right bottom. And the reason you're naming that is because I divide the legs up into two parts. You have the bottom part of the leg and the top part of the leg. So all in all, you're going to have 8 different parts for the legs. It's very tedious, yes. It's getting late at night, I'm yawning. I apologize. So, I'll show you a quick and easy way to make this a little bit better. So just name it front, right, bottom, and then we're going to go over to this tools counter, click add point. Now click the spell button and go over to the pink. Let's find a shade of pink that Pinkie Pie looks like she is. I am terrible with this. That is still purple. Okay, let's just say that's good enough. And then you're going to want a stroke that is a darker shade of pink than the one that you're filling in. We'll see how that affects for a minute. Just keep the length at 4. Now, remember to select your add point tool, zoom in, and then just start drawing. So at a point there, at a point there, you'll see that these things automatically bend. Yeah, so just follow the nice, delectable outline. And then when you get here, just create one point there and then connect the entire thing. You'll notice that when you connected the shape, you'll get that weird little snap thing, and then you are left with this. A strange foreign leg. We could probably make that a little more pink, but for all intents and purposes, yeah, there's just no good pink color, is there? So we're just going to keep it that way. So then we're going to create another vector layer, and we're going to name this front right top. And you guessed it, we're going to make points for the top part of this leg. Now make sure that you overlap your shapes a little bit. And I'll explain this in a minute. So, you might be telling me, but Trey, ponies' legs don't look like this naturally. And then I'll say, get over yourself. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to this fill section, and we're going to select this tool, the hide edge tool. And we're going to click on some edges, and holy crap, the edges disappear. And then I'm going to use the translate point tool to drag that down to make that look a little more natural. As you can see, these things still look a little weird sometimes. I am not perfect with Anime Studio, but I dare you to find another pony tutorial. That's right, there are none. So, yeah, have fun with that. Okay, so we have those two. As we can see, it doesn't look too bad. It's somewhat recognizable as a pony leg, or a dildo left unattended. So what we can do is we can actually, to just simplify time, we can go ahead and duplicate this layer. Now name this front left bottom, and then go over to the layer tool, transform layer, and then just move it over a little bit to the right. And then we're going to want to drag that behind that. And you can do the same thing with the front right top, as long as you name it front left top. Except you'll need to probably, well, it looks like it's fine. Could probably use the translate, make it look just a little more natural. So as you can see, it doesn't look too bad. And then it gives us some distance. So when we make it disappear, it looks like two pony legs. But you also notice when we take these away that these things only go up to here. So guess what we're going to do? Select your front right top. You don't need to do this for the other layers. Just do front right top. Remember your hide edge tool, and then just hide these edges. And then if you want to make it look a little better, you can just make those out a little bit. There. So we're going to create a new vector layer. We're going to name this back right bottom, and then we are going to do the same process all over again, creating points, having lots of wonderful men and women in a huge orgy. This video is now officially not safe for work, even though we're just drawing cutesy wootsy ponies. So yeah. Now for the back right top, that's going to be a little different. So obviously you're going to change these things like normal, but remember to follow the curvature of this leg a little bit of the rump, and then you can close it off like that. Good, and use your hide edge tool. That looks good enough. You can go ahead and duplicate the layer. Go ahead and name this back left bottom. And then transform the layer, move it over a little bit. Do the same thing for back right top. Back left top, yada yada. It looks alright. So, as we can see, we've got two pony legs, and they don't look half bad, except those kind of look terrible. So, let's just, you know, go ahead and translate these points, make that look just a little more natural. We'll see how that comes in handy later. So, yeah, so now we are going to create the body. No, not an image. Vector layer. Just go ahead and name this body, and just in case you accidentally do what I did, drag it. And then we're going to follow points. So you may want to hide these other layers, and then just follow the yellow brick road, Dorothy. Going to travel and trace Pinkie Pie's very pinky-licious plot. A peculiar pink party plot belonging to a peculiar, slightly perilous pink party pony pronounced Pinkie Pie. That was an alliteration. And follow up to her chest. And then whatever. So as you can see, we've done that. Now, make sure to unhide these other layers so that you can see what you're doing. So, the body is going to want to be under that layer, and we are going to want your front right top layer on top of the body as well, so that we get that. Might as well move your front right bottom layer there as well. So then let's go to our back right top and hide these edges. Keep that one. It looks natural. It looks beautiful. So then if we hide this, you can see that we actually have a fairly good looking Pinkie Pie body and skin. It's not bad. It'll do the job. And then we're going to create another vector layer for the neck. Go ahead and add points. And this one's going to be a fairly small layer. Just do that and remember to hide your edges so that we get that. There you go, it looks like a neck. So then we can create another vector layer. We're going to call this head, because I always like to give head. Now obviously this head is a little weird, and Pinkie is always smiling like a happy person. So what you can do is you can go to the create shape tool over here and go to oval and just do like that, and it'll automatically. Then you can use your translate points tool, drag these in any direction that you please. Create points. Which you might have to do. Doesn't look too bad. Add those points, and then you've got something. So what we're going to do really quick is we're going to create a switch layer, and we're just going to call these mouths. Don't worry about that right now. I'll go over that in a separate lesson. And then just create a new vector layer and call it ear. And you guessed it, we're just going to go ahead and trace the ear. Okay, now notice that there's still this little notch in here that I haven't been able to get. Go to your add point tool, start one there, and then just trace the shape. And then what we're going to do is we're going to this create shape tool, select these. You can click lasso mode to make it do all this and more. Circle all those and then create shape, and then it automatically did that. Now another cool thing you can do is use this tool. That's the line width tool. And then select this point. You can make these taper so that it looks somewhat realistic. And then you'll just hide these points. And congratulations, it actually somewhat looks like a pony. I think the head's a little too square. I'm not entirely sure that's better. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and keep what we had for simplicity. So as you can see, it doesn't look too bad. Okay, and then let's just hide the head layer. And then for mouths, go ahead and inside that, create a new vector layer. And we're just going to name this normal. I will explain this in a minute. Go ahead and draw some points. And then since Pinkie's usually smiling, what we're going to do is we're just going to that looks terrible. And that looks even worse. Okay. So just create something that looks sort of muzzly. I should probably quit my day job, because that's fucking horrible. Pinkie Pie is just so difficult. It worked better in my other because she had a pretty good thing that you could actually see. Like, yeah, it looks good right there. But Pinkie Pie is always smiling. So you know what? Let's actually go back to our normal mouth and oops. Yeah, let's just select these points and let's just delete them. Okay. Let's just go ahead and hide the head. And we're just, since Pinkie Pie is one happy motherfucker, we are just going to trace this and call this her normal mouth. And then, since the head will always have these problems, go ahead and just create points, and you can drag this area out this way. I know that it doesn't make sense right now, but it might never. And then just kind of do this to where it fits the curvature of the mouth, and then we look like we have a somewhat happy, smiling Pinkie. I am sorry if that was confusing. Working around the mouths is always going to be confusing, because you have to create a little concave area over here so that you can get the mouths to work properly, because there's not a good tool that I know of yet. Maybe they introduced it in Anime Studio 10, but for now you just kind of have to clear this area and pray to God that you understand. But, you know, if you don't, that's perfectly fine. You'll be sort of like me, because I look like I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. And then we'll just go ahead and create a small point over here. And create shape, and congratulations. That looks horrible. It sort of looks like a nostril. No, it doesn't. Okay. If you want to ignore this part of the video, you are free to. This is apparently the part where I'm just shitting all over myself. So let's just go ahead and create another point. That looks a little better. Still not perfect, but I'm not perfect. It's late at night. But I've given you the basics. So yeah, that looks alright. It sort of looks like a smiling Pinkie. And as you can see, we've still got some rough edges over here. You can smooth those out on your own time. This is just sort of a demo. But as you can tell, it does sort of look like a pony of some sort. So we'll just go ahead, File, Save As, put it in a folder of your choosing. And because it seemed like a good idea at the time, I named mine Pinkie Pie. So go ahead and name this Pinkie Pie Base, indicating that this is the base structure of Pinkie Pie, and we will call that good for this lesson. On the next lesson, I will go over creating the main, which is a little more complicated, and I'll go over making the eyes, since those are extremely complicated as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Whatevs.